Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are flying out the La-5FN, which is in of itself is an amazing aircraft, by the way. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about why I actually kind of detest flying the battle ratings between 4.0 and up to 5.3, 5.7-ish. And mainly this is on the access side of things. So if you're in the access side of things, more often than not, including the Russians here and there, you'll be fighting America. And it's not that their aircraft are necessarily overpowered or overperforming and I don't know how to deal with them. It's quite the contrary, actually. It's the fact that the players that fly those planes, those nations specifically, that fly American planes, I'm sorry, don't know how to fly. They don't fly very well, is what I'm trying to say. They commit to head-ons. They don't climb. They turn fight everything in sight, and it's quite frustrating because here I am trying to get footage for these battle range of planes on the Axis side, and if the Americans are on the enemy team, their team folds completely. It is a complete slaughter fest, and I've kind of narrowed it down to a few things. One of them is that at this battle rating, the American aircraft, the performance of the aircraft don't quite compensate well enough for the lack of skill, for lack of a better term, that the players have at this battle rating range. Whereas, you know, a lot more forgiving aircraft such as the La-5FN, which arguably you could put back to 4.0, it'd be fine. You have the Yak-3, you have the Pure-Murskys, the 19F4, the Spitfires, the Zeros. All these planes can be flown in multiple different ways. All of them turn, in varying degrees, quite well. A lot of them have substantial firepower. Most of them have at least one 20mm cannon. And it makes it very easy to get kills with those sorts of planes, because they hold energy really well, and they turn well, and they may just be faster than a lot of things too. But whereas the American planes, you have to fly them in a very particular way, and it took me 2 years. I will be honest. Flying American planes is not easy. It took me 2 years to figure out how to fly them right. And as you can see in a lot of my videos on the channel, I'm a big proponent of American aircraft. I love the aircraft. They're amazing. Obviously there's some duds. Obviously there's some gems that are just probably should be about full battle rating above. Actually 50. What? And the main problem is that these planes take a lot of discipline. You can't just go for the first guy you see. I mean, that's unadvisable in most aircraft. Potentially, the simple fact being that air realistic is not a 1v1. And a lot of these planes, other planes other than American planes, fit that 1v1 metric quite well. They're adaptable. They generate energy quite easily. They climb extremely well, and they have the firepower. Whereas the American planes are more geared, as I said before, towards a grand strategy of achieving, air superiority. They're definitely very much a team-oriented plane, whereas most of the players in the game, including myself, fly solo. Most of them aren't squatted up. Most of them don't know how to do teamwork, which, I mean, that's a skill you learn in time. But that lack of teamwork goes throughout the whole battering range for all nations, not just Americans. People are only caring about themselves. They only want kills, which I guess is kind of a result of how Gaijin has gone with their implementation of how to grind things. Granted, you get a lot of RP, at least I think double, for winning a match, including Lions. But people don't care. They've kind of realized, especially at the battle rating 12.0 range where you have all these premiums, that if they just get 1 or 2 kills, they get about 4,000 to 8,000 RP guaranteed. And they can just bum rush the entire tech tree quite easily, in fact. And this doesn't facilitate a game where people know what are actually good at the game. It just facilitates people unlocking stuff, which, I mean, I guess is quite the point of premium aircraft. And there really is no way Gaijin, this isn't entirely Gaijin's fault. It's more so on the community. Us as a community is way too focused on grinding, but at the same time, Gaijin, most of their ads I've seen for War Thunder past several years have only focused on top tier tanks and planes. I've only seen one ad where they talk about the World War II aspect of the game, and I'm a big proponent of that. That's where I originated from. That's why I started playing the game. But I really do think that this game should have stopped at the early Cold War subsonic jets. Not so much that I hate missile combat and supersonics. I'm starting to figure it out. I'm having a lot of fun with it nowadays. But it's too big. It's going to crush itself under its own weight, where people will no longer, eventually they're going to get to these top tier jets. They're no longer going to fly these propeller driven aircraft, which started it all. And I guess I'm kind of being a boomer at this point in time. But eventually you're just going to get a drainage of skill, and that's kind of what we've seen as the game has become more and more mainstream. People are just Call of Duty it, they're running and gunning. They're not actually learning. I don't know. I think most 90% of the community actually doesn't take this game very seriously. I think they're just in here to have fun, which by all means, go ahead. I'm not complaining. If you're having fun, I'm not going to harp on you for having fun. It's just the way the community behaves in these American planes just makes it harder for me to have fun. And that is in itself kind of a selfish desire. But I guess the ways we can fix it, I don't know. There really is no way to fix it. A lot of the American aircraft are severely under-tiered. The P-39s, the P-63s, the P-51, D5, and D-20. I think they're kind of fine where they're at. P-51H should be 7.0. The P-30L should be 5.7. That thing is fast as hell. I've pushed that thing up to 800 kilometers an hour in level flight at altitude. You know, just casually, not even trying. So, Gaijin is really hand-holdy with these American aircraft. Oh, the Bearcat's 4.7 now, and when I flew that thing, it was at 5.0, and I had absolutely no qualms dogfighting or energy trapping anything I wanted to. It was quite easy, in fact. So, in the hand of a skilled pilot, which I am not by any means saying that I am the best pilot in the world, but I would definitely say I'm above average. American aircraft are extremely deadly. In the hands of 2 skilled pilots working together, it's nigh untouchable. Now, granted, it's very hard to get to that sort of range where you're comfortable enough in these aircraft because the guns don't hit very hard all the time. Sometimes you get miracle shots. The climb rate is below average, I'd say, for the battle rating. The turn rates are well below average for the battle rating. And the only little tool you have is top speed and top speed zoom climbing. That is really about it. And those are very slow play styles that you have to implement. Whereas most of the other planes are just neuron activation planes. Like you're gonna see a BF-109 E4 video clear quite soon, where I'm literally just turning off my brain. It is quite literally just muscle memory. I'm not even trying. I'm just kind of going with the flow of the plane. Great plane, by the way. You guys are gonna love that. Love that video. But maybe I'm just wasting my breath. I wish people would actually, in the World War II props, actually, you know, be good at the game. I remember back in the day, I would actually be scared of 5.7, 6.0 battle rating because that's where a lot of good plays were. Now it's just devoid of all just brain activity. The game has changed. It really has. I do enjoy the game. I'm not saying like I'm leaving, but I think us as a community, we need to foster slower. Show people the advantage of playing things slower by taking their time and just relaxing and enjoying themselves. Not just trying to focus on to the next thing. And that's where I think that's kind of not just a game problem. It's a real life problem where nowadays we're all focused on trying to get the next thing, the next dopamine hit, we're always focused on the next thing, and we never learned to enjoy the moment. And I'm sure you guys have heard that several times in your lives, but it really is important to just relax, enjoy where you're at while you can, because one day you won't be there anymore and you'll miss it. This has been Plane Killer. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.